we learned a fraction of what we had hoped to learn. And there's every realistic chance that that's going to hurt your grade on Friday's test. Now, the only way it doesn't hurt the grade on Friday's test is if you decide you're gonna extra bust it today, and then extra bust it tomorrow and the next day. Then you can make up for the bad day yesterday. But if you think that you can doodle, talk, daydream, and somehow expect to learn the material, you're mistaken. So I hope that you do well. The other thing that I think is really important to remember is this. At the end of the day, it's your life. And if you choose not to learn this stuff, that's a decision that you have made. But I really think it's unbelievably rude and arrogant, Davis, if you talk in a way or do anything that interferes with other people's learning. Because, you know, I'm sure there are people here who want to do well. So hopefully everybody wants to do well, and hopefully we do a great job. So I'm not going to go over the quiz because it was the third in the series. Lots and lots and lots of hundreds in the class. If you didn't get 100, then come into extra help and we'll work one-on-one. Yes?
Wait, did you take 5 points off and we didn't put the arrows?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I said to you a couple of times, you have to make sure the graph goes all the way across your axis. So the arrows is part of it and extending the graph. Now, that 5 points will have nothing to do with your average. It's not going to hurt your average at all. But it's a reminder to say, hey, don't forget to do that. Otherwise, I have to take points off on the test. And if I take them off on the test, it's going to hurt. So, okay. Yeah. Can you what? Let me see how many passes you have left. You have 3 left, so now you have 2. Okay. So, let's go over what we have here. And I think what we're going to do today is start with a question about elimination method, I think. Yeah. And then we will get into a question about, or maybe 2 or 3 questions, I hope, about substitution, and give you a chance to practice those more and more. On your test that you take on Friday, there will be elimination, there will be substitution, there will be graphing like the one you did on your quiz today, and there will be a word problem one, where you have to convert to words and then use either elimination or substitution. So you have to be prepared for all of the above. Now, 3x plus y is -4, 2x plus 3y is 9. And what I want to make sure of is that as I look at this, I see the x's over the x's, the y's over the y's, the equals over the equals, and the numbers over the numbers. When I see that, I know that I have to use elimination. Now, which letter would you like to eliminate or get rid of? The x's or the y's? Man, definitely, because I only need to multiply one of them. So I'm going to multiply the top one by -3. Now, you could do +3 and subtract, but my experience is that more kids will get that wrong. So we go with this approach. I distribute a -3, I get -9x minus 3y equals 12. Notice each thing was multiplied by 3. And then on the bottom here, I get 2x plus 3y equals 9. I actually think when I made yesterday's video, I made a mistake and didn't multiply at one point the way I should have, because I did the same question yesterday that on the do it, I came out with an ugly answer with you guys, and it came out perfect with the other class. So I think I either misread something or forgot to multiply. -7x, die, equals 21. Divide by -7, x is -3. Am I done? No, that's only the x. Now I have to go back and get the y. Let's do that in a different color here. I can use either equation. Let me use the top one. 3x plus y equals -4. Now the x is -3, so I'm going to take that -3 and I'm going to substitute it in. So 3 times -3 plus y equals -4. What's 3 times -3? -9. Plus y equals -4. Add 9 to both sides. Die. Y equals 5. So x is -3, y is 5, and that's my solution to the problem. All right, any questions about that? Davis, head in the game, bud. Right here. This is where we're focused. All right, any other questions about this?
No.
All right, so now let's go forward a little bit. Now my question to you is, should I use elimination or should I use substitution? Alex? How, hey, how do you know to use substitution, Alex?
Because you're not seeing things like the X and Y.
I really didn't hear, I'm sorry.
You're not lined up.
There you go, perfect word. They're not lined up, they're not aligned, all right? So, when I use substitution, I realize that these two things are equal to each other, so I can substitute one for another. I need a girl volunteer.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
No girl volunteer.
I'm a girl, I'm a transgender.
Hold on, Diana is raising her hand. I didn't see it. Hey,
Transgender.
if we're gonna get too far off track, we're not gonna go there. No, just stare at it. If you could win a date with any guy in the entire world, any guy of your dreams, who would it be?
Kim Kardashian.
Who would it be? Who's one of them? Humming.
William Levy. Roberto Santos.
Diana, who would it be? All right, so Diana's obviously getting a little too embarrassed.
I know.
I'll say it, I'll give you one.
Joe is volunteering to give me one. Notice this is the first time Joe's paid attention in forever. Go ahead, Joe.
It's hard.
You want
Kim Kardashian, make you
All right, so Joe likes Joe likes curvy women. Now, so let's go with Kim Kardashian. All right, so Joe, let me ask you an honest question. Now Joe needs to answer this. Joe,
curvy women.
you get a limo that pulls up in the front of the house, and out of the limo steps the beautiful, stunning Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Curvy.
And Kirby, yes, and she comes to the front door and asks you out on a date. And you go out, you have a wonderful, wonderful evening together, you have a great time, etc. And at the end of the night, you realize it's not really Kim Kardashian, it's her exact identical twin sister with just as much money. Are you going to complain?
No.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so in the least. Of course, Joe was going to say, that's okay. It's the same. Now,
It's the same curve.
same curves. There you go. Now, talk about the same curves here. This is one hot-looking X. Look at that X. Now, this Y plus 2, Joe. This Y plus 2 is not just any Y plus 2. This is the curvy Kim Kardashian of Y plus 2s. Now, the bottom line is, the bottom line is that these things can be substituted equally for each other because they are exactly the same. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to put the X here. I'm going to put exactly what it's equal to, which is the Y plus 2. So I don't put the X in. I know to eliminate the X because it says X is.
What?
So then I put in what it says X is. Plus 5 times Y is 14. So the 3 stays the same, the plus 5 stays the same, the Y stays the same, the equal stays the same, the 14 stays the same. The only thing that changes is instead of putting the X, what do I put?
3.
I don't put a 3. What do I put in instead of the X? I put in the Y plus 2. Look, this line right here says the X is the same as. That's what equals means. The X is the same as a Y plus 2. So I take the X and I get rid of it and I put in the Y plus 2. Everything else stays the same. Go ahead. I'm sorry? Yeah, because otherwise you'll forget to distribute, which is the very next step.
Oh, and that question, is it always, are you always gonna multiply like the 3x?
If there's a 3 in front, you're going to leave it there. If there's a 22 in front, you're going to leave it there. What are we doing? Turn, face forward. Distributing the 3. 3y plus 6 plus 5y equals 14. What's 3y plus 5y? 8y, because this is the same side, same operation situation. Plus 6 is 14, minus 6, die. 8y is 8, divide by 8, y is 1. Am I done?
No.
But here's the cool thing, and this is where we left off yesterday, because you guys were so distracted yesterday, we weren't able to get as much of the lesson done as we wanted to. But what's really cool at this point in time is that when it comes to substitution, and you look these things up, what you're able to do is substitute for the one variable and get an answer really easy. Just rewrite the second equation, x equals y plus 2. Take the 1, plug it in for y. X equals 1 plus 2. What's 1 plus 2?
3.
3. That's about as easy as it gets.
That's all you have to do.
That's it.
Yup.
So x is 3, y is 8. By the way, if I graph them, you know how, like, if I graphed the two lines and they would meet? They would meet at the point 3, 8. Because remember how any point is x comma y? Well, the x is 3. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 comma 1. The x is 3 and the y is 1. Okay? Any questions?
No.
Okay, let's see you try the next. Go ahead.
Curve.
Forward, Joe. Back to your work. Ava ahead in the game. Right? Gotta look to do that substitution, not doodle. Okay. Substitution or elimination? Substitution, we know that because they're not all lined up. And when I say all lined up, I mean the equal sign too, okay? So that's 3 times. Now, what is an m worth? What is it the same exact thing as? Davis? Josh? An n minus 3. That's what this means. An m is the same as an n minus 3. So instead of the m, I can cross that out and I can put the n minus 3 in. So that's what I do. Minus 7n equals negative 25. Distributing, 3n minus 9 minus 7n equals negative 25. What I really like about this substitution method questions, as opposed to the elimination, is first off, you only have to change one equation. And the second thing is that these are just like the ones we did early in the year that you guys did so well on. Yeah, distribute and then same side, same operation. You guys were so good at those. So if we can just do that one step, everything falls into what we already know how to do. And I want to mention one other thing very quickly. When you think about the relearn packets and how important they are to do, if you took the time earlier in the year to do the relearn packets, when we did equations, not only did you improve your grades then, but now we're going back to those skills. And if you learned them back then, this is easy. But if you didn't learn them back then, this is doubly hard, because you have to learn to make the right substitution, and then you need the skills that you learned earlier in the year. So anytime you're given an opportunity to do a relearn packet, you should take it very seriously, because when you do that, God bless, when you do that, you make future work easier for you. Okay? Same side, same operation, that's negative 4n, minus 9 is negative 25, add 9. Die. Negative 4n is negative 16. Divide by negative 4. N is 4. Any questions? Okay, am I done? No. I have to go back and get y. And the cool thing is, or in this case m, because the cool thing is, once I find n, I just get this really easy equation. And I just take the 4 and I plug it in for n. So m is 4 minus 3. What is 4 minus 3? 1. So m is equal to 1. All right? So there are two techniques that we've learned. What are those two techniques? Substitution and elimination. You need to be able to do both of them to do well on your test. You have to be able to graph. Okay, here's a substitution and an elimination. Let's do the substitution one first. Go ahead. This is the second to last question on the whole homework, so you're actually getting a little bit of a head start on it.
We do the substitution.
I'm sorry? You tell me. Yep. Okay, boys, let's go. Who did the attendance today? Davis?
Yes.
Davis, when you do attendance, try to make sure you keep the check marks in the box.
Sorry.
Hey. Now, let's see if we're able to recognize what the first step is. And then I really do think if we get the first step down pat and remember to distribute, Joe, that we're going to get this question right every single time. What's my first step? What's the step, guys? What do I gotta do?
Find y.
Well, I gotta find x and y, but what's the very first thing I'm going to do? Davis?
Align them.
No, I don't want to align them because if they're not aligned, it means I should use a different technique than.
Substitution.
Substitution. So don't you think, because we call it the substitution technique, that we should substitute first?
Yeah.
What do I substitute?
Y.
I substitute, instead of y, what do I put?
3x.
No. What does it say y is the same as?
1.
The x minus 1. So 3x minus x minus 1 equals 5. And then from there I go. Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, ta, arrivederci, smile a lot, ciao, adios, adios amigos y amigas, Karushanus, Gadafis.
I'm learning.
Karushanus is Turkish, Gadafis is Pakistani, I believe.